Okay, hello everyone. Hello. I am so excited to be here with you all today. We have a very special guest coming on this morning with us, which I'm very excited. Let me make sure that I can see I can have you guys all on with me here. Okay, if you're live with us on Freedom Queen Live today, say hello in the comment section below. I would love to know who is here. You guys are with us live on Freedom Queen Live. Say hello. Hey, Gemma. Oh my gosh, Gemma. I'm excited to see you or have you coming up. Gemma's here. Amazing. Okay. If you're live with us, say hello in the comments. I know we're just getting up and running. All right. So today is going to be a very special Freedom Queen Live. I can feel it. Something happened this weekend with me where I'm very excited to share some of the lessons that I have learned. My life, it feels like my life was changed. But before we do that, I'm going to bring on this very amazing human, Lena. And I kept calling you Lena. It's not Lena. And I'm very excited to bring her on. She's been someone inside of the Freedom Queen community that has just blown me away, especially over just the last few weeks. You've been blowing up. You've been showing up for your audience. You've been showing up inside of Freedom Queen. And I just want you to come on, unmute yourself, introduce who you are, and then talk about some of what have been the biggest shifts that you've gone through over the last few weeks? Because I know that other people witnessing you will help them make a shift. So I'm going to unmute you. There we go. Go ahead and come on up and introduce yourself.
Hey everyone, hey Freedom Queen community. My name is Lena. I'm also known as LinkedIn Baddie #1, and my whole jam is LinkedIn. And honestly, I'm so honored to be here today because Bridget is picking up on something crazy because my life has completely shifted over the past few weeks, not just inside my business, but I'm going to be completely honest with you. The last year and a half has been a very, very difficult year for me. I experienced a traumatic life event, and I have just started to heal from it. And I have come out on the other side. And that's when I joined Make Money membership. And I just felt something shift inside me after I was listening to the way Bridget talked about basically setting your soul on fire. And so what essentially happened a few weeks ago is I went to Croatia, where I'm from, back to visit my family to basically set my soul on fire. I didn't even know I was doing that, but I went there. It was super scary because I haven't left Vancouver in a year and a half because of what I've been going through. But I decided to just do it anyway. My husband was so supportive, and I just completely reignited my soul. I refound my whole purpose of what I'm doing. I found a deeper mission. And what I basically do with my clients is I help them get clients on LinkedIn, but it's so much more than that. I really help people use content as a self-expression, almost for healing, this is the shift that I've realized the past few weeks. I use content to heal. That's what I've been doing for the past year and a half. And that's why my audience loves my content so much. And I'm known as one of the most authentic personal brands on LinkedIn because I truly just pour my soul into my content. And so the shift has been crazy, and it's been pouring into my business, and I'm magnetizing more and more people. And part of who I have to thank is Bridget and the Freedom Queen community.
Oh my gosh. That is what a story, Lena. What have been some of the things action-wise that you've done in the last few weeks that have made the shift, using your voice more, being more creative, or even just internal shifts that you've gone through?
I mean, I've always shown up, but it felt like it was more mechanical. So I really just pulled more of my story into my content, which is ironic because I thought I was doing that before, but I kind of just did it on a whole new level. And the shift really started internally with me just kind of taking better care of myself and just, moving my body more and being very intentional with the people who I spend time with, the things that I consume. And, I don't really read the news anymore because I just don't think it's necessary. I'd rather just tune in with myself. Coming back to my spirituality has been a huge one. So that's kind of the inner work. But in terms of the business, I've just been really detaching myself from outcomes and focusing on changing lives as opposed to hoping for some kind of sales goal, and just really pouring my heart into every single person who comes into my community. One really great example that I'm proud of is a few weeks ago, I jumped on a sales call with a client. He's absolutely amazing. He's actually 19. And so he
Oh
jumped
my
on a
God.
sales call with me, and he is like a bold person. And basically, he told me that, I want to book with you, but I just need to see kind of more results. I need to know that the value is worth it. And I could have so easily in that moment thought, who is this child questioning me? But instead, I was like, this is a legitimate, question from someone. And like, I have so much respect for like a young person who can stand their ground like that. And so that really shifted me. And I was like, amazing. I'm going to share with you a Google Doc of all my client results. And I just really shipped off the email in a very empowering way. I kind of just sent it out to the world. And I was like, these are my client results. This is what I can do for you. I would love to help you. Let me know if you want to go forward. It was very just kind of like balls in your court, not in like a crappy way, but like I hope that you make the right choice, and whatever the choice is for you, I'm happy for you type of thing. And he, signed on with me, and he's actually even extended. And so that has been so liberating. And I think that's what's allowed me to show up in my power, not in desperation, but in like if you sign on with me, great. If you don't, great. And that has created the presence, I think, that is magnetizing even more people into my community.
Totally. That level of boldness and knowing your value, and like knowing that, hey, I'm actually really amazing at what I'm teaching on, and here's why. In my experience of being just more confident, that's what increases your sales, but also increases the client results, because the clients look at you and go, Lena is the way. What she's teaching me is going to work. And that's going to help them build the belief in you and also in themselves. So I guarantee this client, this 19-year-old man, he's getting incredible results with you. And that's why he wants to continue on.
And I think the other piece that I really want to highlight here is I could have so easily in that moment had a very negative mindset of, oh, this person's questioning me and, how dare they? But instead I was like, hang on a second, like, I wonder how this might be a question in other people's minds. And this is something I really need to solve, because I'm clearly not conveying my value enough. So instead of blaming the world, I took accountability. I was like, how can I actually take control of the situation instead of just blaming them? This is a great opportunity for me to figure out who else might be having this question, and really taking that feedback honestly and relentlessly iterating on it. I think that that's a huge also like level up that I've had. So super excited.
I mean, that's so big. But it's what you said. Instead of being triggered or like, oh, who's this guy? It's like, whoa, what can I actually learn from this? And then it becomes like a game. You're just learning and problem solving and figuring it out. So with our last minute here, where are you going? Like, what's your vision for the rest of 2023?
So my vision for the rest of 2023 is honestly just building deeper into my movement and just connecting more with this whole concept of content really being a self-expression, content being a way to heal, and just bringing more of my vulnerable stories out. And I don't really have any sales goals actually, but I think if I focus on that and working more on myself, I think the rest is 100% going to follow, because I've already seen that happen.
Oh, absolutely. And I love seeing you inside of the membership platform. Whenever you post, I'm like, Lena, what are you doing? And that's how we featured you here, because you're winning, you're taking action. Like, you're such a positive member of Freedom Queen. And I'm just so grateful for having you inside.
Yeah, I'm grateful to be there.
Well, thank you for coming on, Lena. You're welcome to pop back over to the YouTube channel. And then once you're on the YouTube channel, put your Instagram handle in there too, so the entire Freedom Queen community can go follow you there too.
Sounds good. Okay. Bye, Freedom Queens. I love you all.
Thanks for coming on. Okay. Lena is the absolute best. She's going to come over to the YouTube channel to hang out with you all. I can't wait to meet you. Thanks, Lena. Isn't she amazing? Like, also, I think something that's really cool about Lena that we didn't even talk about that much is that she does LinkedIn marketing. So she's not even doing something like, Instagram or maybe one of the other platforms that most people are primarily on, she is doing something that's completely different and she's just blowing it out of the water. So I'm very, very excited for her. So the next thing that we're going to be talking about, and hopefully Lena comes on and puts her Instagram handle in YouTube, is something that I wanted to bring to your attention this week. So we're kind of switching gears here with me. So while we switch gears, I would love for you to put it in the chat. What are some of the things that you have felt like are shifting inside of your life? What are some of the things that you felt like are shifting inside of your life and in your business? How are you feeling in the month of, it's almost end of October. October has been the most incredible month in business. We're like beyond where we were other months in the entire time I've been in business in terms of energetics, client results, feelings, everything, money, everything. I would love to know, where are you at right now in October? How are you feeling? Put it in the chat. So the reason I'm asking is because this weekend I was going through a huge up level, and an up level where it wasn't just like I was sitting at home and doing manifestation, or I was sitting at home and journaling inside of a journal or writing inside of a Google Doc. I was out really embodying Freedom Queen. And so a couple of years ago in 2020, when I moved to Costa Rica for the first time, I said, I'm going to make 100K years. And I vividly remember going into this ocean that I can see from my condo here in Costa Rica, this ocean right here. I remember going in the water. Does anyone else use water to manifest? Does anyone else use water to manifest? And I'm swimming in the ocean. And I remember saying, I'm going to make 100K in a year. I'm going to make 100K in a year. That's it. And it's so funny because it flash forward to where we are today. We've done that in months. 100K in a month. And I think back to the girl that I was in 2020 when I first came to Costa Rica and I swam in that ocean, and to think forward to who I am today. And so there are three key lessons that I learned yesterday while fighting the ocean that changed my life. And I said, we have to talk about these on Freedom Queen Live. So yesterday I'm back in that ocean because my boyfriend's family is here visiting, his nephew. And we said, we're going to take you for a surf lesson for your birthday. We're going to take you for a surf lesson for your birthday. The same ocean that I swam in 2020, 3 years ago, when I said, I'm going to make $100,000 in a year. And we've now done that in a month. And I said, I'm going to take you surfing. And you have to know this. The last time I went surfing in this ocean, it was a nightmare. I went out during high season. I was swimming with pro surfers. I'm a great swimmer, not a great surfer. Took the board out without an instructor, got wrecked, and haven't surfed since then. And so there I am yesterday. I have my surfboard, I have my wets, like rash guard. I'm going out into the ocean with this 7-year-old and with my boyfriend, and I am terrified. Because the last time I was in this water, I got wrecked in the ocean. Like badly. It was so bad that my board detached from the tail, from the piece that's connected to your ankle. Like it broke off and the board went flying. And I got hit. It was crazy. So we say, we're going to do this lesson, okay? We're going to do this for his birthday. And we meet the instructor. He's this amazing Costa Rican man, incredible Costa Rican man. And he says, I'm going to give you a lesson. The lesson, you guys, the entire lesson, just put it in the chat with me. Put in minutes. How long did you think this lesson was? Put it in the chat. How long do you think the lesson was? we're about to embark on something that I am terrified of doing. The last time I did it, I wrecked my board because I was out in crazy, biggest waves I've ever seen in my life. I'm trying to be a pro surfer. Put it in the chat, minutes wise. How many minutes do you think this lesson is? How many minutes? He takes us up to the second floor of the surf studio, and we're up there, we're watching. This entire lesson is 5 minutes long. Catherine says 3 minutes. 5 minutes long. 10 minutes, Maria says. 5 minutes long. He's like, you're gonna go down, push up, you're gonna like stay this way. And I've done surf lessons before, so I've had like a little bit of background, but the whole lesson was 5 minutes. He's like, okay, great, you're ready, let's go and get into the water. And something I was thinking about as I was saying to Robbie as we walked to the beach and reflecting on, I said to him, how many times in entrepreneurship do we think we need hours of trainings? We need another course. We need to consume. We need those things. No, what you actually need to do is go get out in the field, because the lesson was 5 minutes, but the real lesson was me getting wrecked in the ocean yesterday and getting back up and doing it again. You're going to want to stay with me because it gets crazier. How many times do you say to yourself, I just need another course. I just need another thing. No, what you actually need to do is go get wrecked in the ocean. Put a yes in the chat if you know what I'm talking about. And so, yes, so yesterday we're going out we start walking out into the water and the waves are crazy. He's like, the conditions are pretty rough. Okay. I'm going to tell you right now, the conditions are rough in business. The conditions are crazy. You're going to have pushback. You're going to have things that are going to knock you down over and over again. But you have to decide, do you want to stay in the course area and just consume, or do you want to get into action? Why is one of our most famous sayings in Freedom Queen, action takers are money makers? Because the real lessons are not learned in the 5-minute lesson in the studio. They're learned out in the ocean. They're learned in the field. So we're out in the ocean, and I am scared. And my boyfriend Robbie is looking back at me like, Ridge, you can do this. He's like, come on, you can do this. I'm like, okay. And I love swimming in the ocean, but like a massive surfboard where there's a riptide and I'm worried about the 7-year-old that we're watching. I'm like, I don't know, man, this does not seem like a good idea. He doesn't have a life vest on. I'm like, I don't know. So we go out there and something changed my life completely. As we were out there, I went up on the board once. The instructor was amazing. I rode the wave and I said, cool, all right, let me do that again. I go up for a second time and Robbie kind of sees the fears in my eyes because the waves are getting much bigger, and just out past us, there's massive waves with like pro surfers surfing and doing all these tricks. So we're kind of in the shore, but the waves are still getting bigger. And he sees the fear and the panic set in, and he says something to me, you said you wanted to do inner work, and inner work doesn't happen while you're sitting at home singing kumbaya songs and loving yourself. This is where the inner work happens. And I'm like, whatever, you don't say that to me. You're right though, So I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, the inner work does happen in the water. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this. So I get up on the board and I'm ready, and the instructor's like, go, which means stand up. And I stand up way too fast. And I fall so hard on the ground and slam down on the bottom of the ocean floor on my hip bone. You want to talk about inner work? I am there. Okay. I am in the inner work. I am like, I'm done. I am not doing this. My hip bone has a bruise on it. It's like turning red immediately. And I walk out of the ocean and I'm like, you know what? It would be safer if I just like swam. I'll swim next to you guys. I'm a great swimmer. I can swim. I can help Robbie's nephew get the board, bring it back in. It's his birthday gift. I don't need to be doing this. I go into the ocean and Robbie's brother-in-law is like, how was it? I'm like, I'm done. I put the board down. I go back out in the ocean. It gets better, you guys. I go back out in the ocean and I'm like, okay, I'm going to swim with you guys. This is going to be fun. So I'm swimming, like riding in the waves, watching them. It's really fun. The 7-year-old is amazing at swimming. At surfing. He's awesome. He stands up every time. Robbie's falling all over the place, having fun. He's like, this is really hard because the waves were still getting crazier. And then something happened to me that changed my life. Are you still with me? Put a yes in the chat if you're still with me. Put a yes in the chat if you're still here. I'll never forget this moment. I'm out there swimming, enjoying myself. I'm in my comfort zone. I'm there. Everything's fine. Robbie's nephew looks at me with the most neutral energy and says, why aren't you surfing? And it makes me emotional. He said, why aren't you surfing? And he didn't say in a way of like, why aren't you surfing? Or why aren't you surfing? It was just, why aren't you surfing? Just genuine curiosity. A 7-year-old saved my life yesterday. Why aren't you surfing? And something switched inside of me. I immediately turned my body to the shore, walked up to the giant surfboard, grabbed it, brought it back to the ocean, and said, you're doing this. You're doing this. Why aren't you surfing? A simple question that shifted everything, and it made me think of you. Why aren't you posting? Why aren't you building the $1 million business? Why aren't you selling? Why aren't you showing up? I get so emotional thinking about that moment. It was the simplest question, so neutral, no anger, no expectation, not even positivity. It was just, why not you? Why aren't you doing that? Why aren't you doing the thing that you said you were going to do? You came here to do this, so why aren't you doing it? You're here, why aren't you doing it? I knew exactly what needed to be done. I knew exactly how to surf or how to learn how to surf, but I was afraid. I was afraid because I was using past experiences, like the first time I was wrecked out on the surfboard a couple of years ago. I allowed that to dictate how I showed up yesterday. I was afraid when the waves were crashing on me. I felt the resistance and I was like, oh, this sucks. Like, I don't want to do this. This hurts. I'm afraid. My heart was pounding. I had previously been hurt while surfing. I was not interested in doing this. My contacts were shifting because I can't see a long distance. So my contacts were shifting. The sunscreen was going in my eyes. I was worried about the 7-year-old. I had every excuse as to say why I don't want to do this. And then the second time I try surfing, I slam my hip down and have a massive red bruise to show. I had every excuse in the book as to why I could have just left the board on the ocean and said, good try. Good. But that's not what we're here for. We're not here for trying. You signed up to surf. So go walk your butt to the surfboard, pick up the surfboard. I don't care how afraid you are. There are other people around you doing it. There's a 7-year-old doing it. Your boyfriend is doing it. You have an instructor there to help you. Ask him questions. Tell him your fears. Communicate with him. And then let's ride. Let's go. So I don't care that you're afraid and that past experiences have been saying to you, you're going to fail. You're going to get hurt. I don't even care that right now you fell. Get up. Why aren't you surfing? Why aren't you doing the thing? Why aren't you posting? You signed up. So what? You had a failed launch last time. So what? No one liked your last Instagram post. So what? So-and-so said they would sign up and then ghosted you. The goal was never to get on the board. The goal was to surf and get out there. The goal was to show up. And so I grabbed the board. And I felt the fear. And I felt terrified. And I was like, I don't care. I don't care that you have all the million excuses as to why you don't need to surf right now. You said you were going to do this. You're going to show this. You're going to show this to yourself. And I started looking for all the reasons I could. I started looking for all the reasons why it was possible for me. I started to think about my father who lives in Laguna Beach and would ride his surfboard there. I'm like, okay, he was my age living in Laguna Beach. I can ride the surfboard too. It must be somewhere in my genes, you guys. I am starting to look for proof and validation everywhere in my life as to why it's going to work. Instead of looking at all the reasons why it wasn't going to work. And I get up to the surf instructor, my mentor, and I tell him, I'm afraid. I'm really nervous right now. And he's like, why didn't you tell me? And now our relationship is going to be 10 times better because I communicated with him. Because I said to him, hey, I'm really scared right now. Can you help me? I'm like, I don't know if I can do this. And everything shifted. I felt his energy go like, oh, that's what's going on with you. Okay, well, let's talk about it. So the rip tides are really crazy right now. Then he starts giving me strategy. He starts giving me strategy to navigate the hard times. And he understands me. He's like, oh, I can see what's going on now. Okay, I know how to coach you through this. If I had never told him what was going on and communicated, he would have just been like, oh, she's fine. Like, she knows what she's doing. Then I get on the board. He's like, are you ready? I'm like, I'm ready. I'm here to surf. And he pushes the board, he says go, and then I stand up and I ride the wave almost all the way into the shore. Almost all the way in. And I pop out of the water and my hair is like all over the place, like this disaster. Have you ever been surfing and you have to wear one piece and you just don't matter what you look like? And I pop out of the water and I'm like, and the surf instructor is like, and then I start to get out of the water again. And then he says something even more powerfully to me. He says, why are you getting out of the water? You just got the form right. I said, sir, you are creating our entire lesson inside of Freedom Queen Live. He said, why are you getting out of the water? Why did you stop posting? You got it right. You signed on one client and then you stopped doing it. You did one webinar and 10 people came, but it wasn't good enough, or it was good enough and you stopped doing it. Why are you stopping once you get it right? That is your time to keep going. And my higher self said, gosh, dang it, back out in the water. You're getting back out in the water. So even when I had mastered this skill, I was still afraid. It is not about like you get to some level and then all of a sudden you're there. It is continuing to stay in the game, in the process. And I said, I'm going to get back out there. And did you know something else? I got back out there. And not one time did I actually succeed at surfing again after that. But here's why this is so powerful. I did not stop. And here's something else I gathered from this. That instructor, he gave me the strategy. He told me exactly what to do. And I still failed. Does that make him a bad instructor? Absolutely not. I actually got his number afterwards because Robbie and I were going to hire him again. He was so good. He gave me the strategy. I succeeded once, came back, kept doing it, kept failing, falling. The strategy was still correct. It's that I need more time in the game. I need more exposure. And so it's not about you leaving, like getting the strategy and then leaving the strategy. It's continuing to fully immerse yourself in the process, in the game, with the ocean, with the surf, with the mentor. Okay, let's do it again. Hey, I'm getting better. Hey, this hurts. Hey, I'm really nervous. Continuing to communicate and not going to the beach to say I'm done, but continuing to sign back up because you came here to surf. And so that's what we're going to do. You came here to win. You came here to build the business. You came here to show up. You came here to be number one. You came here to build $1 million movement. You came here to learn how to sell, post on social media, and that's what we're going to do. And there will be times when you want to put the board on the shore. There will be times when you fall and you have a bruise. There will be times when you say to your mentor, I am nervous. There will be times when your brain is going, but last time I surfed, I got wrecked. Great. There will be times when you do stand up and you win, and there will be times when you fail. But we came here to surf, and you came here to win. I'm going to end Freedom Queen Live with one final question. Why aren't you surfing? If you got value out of this live today, share it to your Instagram stories or why don't we do this? Why don't we start a freaking revolution? Post on your Instagram stories, why aren't you surfing? Tag me in it and I'll reshare it to my Instagram stories. So I know who listened to this. I can't see who's on right now, but why aren't you surfing? And the second you fall down, and you will fall down, you get back up and do it again. And over time, you will get better. Freedom Queen, I will see you same time, same place.